everybody out in Facebook land. It's Barb here from barbstamps.com, and it must be 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern, because I'm live on Thursday night on Facebook. And I have our tiny hands, still married, but I don't have Manny or Handy Randy or Handy Andy, whatever we were talking about last week. I don't have that one with me right now because I didn't get on Amazon to get it ordered, so I only have Handy Mandy right now. So, how is everyone? I hope everyone's doing good. I'm just trying to make sure that I am actually live, and I think that I am. I think I see myself on Facebook. So, hello, Sherry and Jean. Nice to see you girls. Jean is watching from North Dakota. Jean, my dad is from North Dakota. He is from Fargo. So, where are you from? We have Stacy and Ruth. Hello, hello, everybody. Please don't forget to share the video. I always appreciate that. And if you would be so kind as to thumbs up, or are those thumbs up? Does that count on a tiny hand? I'm not really sure. The wedding ring is still holding up. So my work is, I do good work. So that's exciting. And I have a special guest sitting here.
Hello, ladies.
This is my husband. He's off today, so he is down here. I don't know what he's doing down here. Certainly, he's not going to help me stamp because he doesn't stamp. So, although he can run my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We did find that out, and so can my son, because I was doing a little bit of spring virtual retreat prep, and I needed some things die cut, and you know, I have other things that I need to do, but they can easily do that. That's like the lowest job down here that anyone can do. So I let those guys help me with that. So there you go. And he's leaving now, so goodbye. Jean says in Beulah. Oh my gosh, Beulah's right near the border, isn't it? Of Wyoming and, or no, that must be South Dakota. So there's a Beulah in North Dakota and South Dakota. Very interesting. Yes, he's kind of camera shy, so he's gone already. You may have seen him leave down the hallway there. So yeah, we don't need him here. He said he was going to holler something at me about, if I'd washed his underwear. And I said, oh, for crying out loud, please don't. And no, I haven't. I had to get ready for Facebook Live. I don't have time to be washing underwear today. Come on, get serious. So anyway, yeah. I have to give a huge shout out to Lisa. I saw her on here, and Lisa is so sweet. I think I told you guys last week how I had dumped my full can of Diet Pepsi all over my area and like just douched everything that I had out here with Diet Pepsi, and I messed up an entire container full of die cuts and whatever. Well, Lisa, sweetheart, I just got this in the mail from Amazon today. It's a cup holder that clamps onto your desk, so I can stick it literally right here next to me, and I can put my soda in it, and then it won't get knocked over. So, yay. So, Lisa, thank you so much. She also gave me this little mug, and I'm going to show you guys because I don't know how she knew. My favorite color is blue and black, and it's blue. So I have this cute little mug. It's one of those insulated ones. So when I bring my hot chocolate down here, I can have it nice and toasty warm. And yeah, so my gosh, Lisa, that was so sweet of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I can hardly wait to put my soda holder to good use because I do drink, I don't even like to admit this, I drink about 3 sodas a day. I know some of you are going to like freak out and go, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I know it is, but I can't help myself. And, you know, some of you probably drink coffee. So I kind of say, you know, it's maybe a little bit similar to coffee. I don't know. Maybe it's worse. Maybe it's not. I really don't have any idea. But I'm a Diet Pepsi freak, and I'm just not going to give it up. So there you go. All right. So I hope everyone is doing fabulous. We are doing really good here. We had a gigantic snowstorm down in the southern part of our state over the weekend. Thankfully, we didn't really get any of it. The interstate was closed for like 100 miles because there were 4-foot drifts, you know, not the entire thing, but, you know, certain parts of it. There were 4-foot drifts that they had to plow through. And I actually saw a picture on our DOT of Wyoming's Facebook page of a plow that got sucked off the side of the road because the snow was so deep. And so they ended up using road graders to actually bust through the snow and try to get rid of it. So I think it opened it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, it was really, really bad. And Interstate 80 is like an interstate that goes from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, it goes the entire distance of the United States. So it's a very well-traveled road. A lot of it for shipping, you know, trucking. There's a lot of truck traffic down there. And so that stopped everything for like 3 days. Nothing could get through. So, I mean, we weren't getting any mail. The UPS people, I don't think they could get through. Just, you know, getting stuff from, so anyways, it was terrible. But thankfully, it's the interstate's open, but I think poor people down in Cheyenne, Wyoming, they got like 30 inches of snow. And, you know, we're accustomed to snow in Wyoming. It's not that big of a deal, but 30 inches will shut down any town. I don't care how prepared you are, 30 inches will shut you down. And yeah, so they're digging out down there. And my daughter lives in Laramie, which is like 45 miles from Cheyenne. And she showed me her driveway the next day after the storm, and she opened up the door from the garage to the outside, and it was like, you know, waist deep because the wind had pushed it up. Her roommate's car was buried. You could barely see the top of her car. It's a little slug bug. And yeah, it was just crazy, crazy, crazy. It was a lot of snow. I mean, we don't usually get that much at one time. We get a lot of snow here, but not that much at one time. So anyways, and today it's 50 degrees, 55. So I think it's going to be 60 degrees tomorrow. So figure that one out. Who knows? It's kind of crazy. All right. I don't have any son updates because he hasn't been back to the doctor yet. So, yeah. My daughter is doing great. She's really kind of getting a little bit homesick, and she's going to be coming home, I think, the end of the month. They have a little bit of a spring break down there. So she'll be coming home for a few days. So I'm actually very excited to see her. I haven't seen her since January. And that's, I think, the longest period of time it's been since I haven't seen her, because even when she moved last year to go to college, my husband and I went down there like a couple months after she moved down there to watch a football game. And then she came home for something. And then we went down there again. So, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. Oh, Terry wants to know about my son's girlfriend. I don't think there is a girlfriend anymore. But far be it for me to say, because he won't talk to me. Because, you know, I've told you before, I'm annoying. So, but I don't think that he has a girlfriend anymore. So that's kind of a bummer. Denise said she didn't mean to press that button. What did you send me? Did you send me a frowny face, Denise? It's totally fine. It happens. And maybe you were frowning because you don't like Diet Pepsi. I mean, you know, it's fine. And hoarding buried, that would be my craft stuff. Gosh, I hear you, Linda. Oh my gosh, Linda. Is that you, Linda? Are you Teetsy? Are you the Linda that Dina was talking about? Teetsy? I love that name, by the way. Okay, sorry. Maybe I shouldn't call you that. Maybe that's not good. I think it's cute, though. So, yes, you guys are saying Lisa's amazing. She is amazing. Thank you so much. Again, Lisa, you are so kind. All right. I'm just kind of scrolling through. I don't think I see anything that needs to be addressed. Just hellos and stuff. Okay, so it is Teetsy. Hi, Teetsy. I died laughing when I was watching Dina the other night doing, I think it was her bingo or something like that, and she was talking about you and what they call you. I just thought it was kind of cute. So, yay. All right. Like I said, I don't think I have anything. I don't have any great, fantastic stories. I mean, unless one pops into my brain, which you never know. Anything can trigger that. If you guys wouldn't mind sharing the video, again, I think I already asked you that, but I think there's more of you on here now. I would appreciate it very much. And, oh, I guess I should tell you one thing. I'm sure you guys all know that Kelly, Dina, and I are doing our spring virtual retreat at the end of the month on the 27th. And there's one spot left, you guys. One. Dina is sold out, Kelly is sold out, and I have literally one spot left. So if you want it, the link is in the description of the video. Otherwise, I guess I should say one spot for a swag box that has $100 worth of stuff in it. How do you keep your hair so neat? Terry, I'm kind of a psycho hair person. I'm a Leo. I don't know if that really makes any difference, but I'm kind of a psycho hair person. I mean, if you would have seen me 20 minutes ago, it did not look like this. I just use a blow dryer and a round brush to kind of flatten it out and smooth it and kind of tuck it under a little bit. But a lot of the credit goes to my hairdresser because she's the bomb. And she keeps my cut, you know, and the color. And I mean, it's, oh gosh, it's pretty gray right now. So I'm not going to show you that because I'm going to have to get my chocolate chip ink out and do a little bit of coverage then. So that's how I do it. And then I do a little bit of hairspray. And that's it. But I'm kind of a psycho hair person. I always have been. So there you go. what was it? Oh, the retreat. So there's one swag box left. So if you want to join the retreat virtually without a swag box, there's millions of those available. That's unlimited, and those are $60. The swag box is $129, and so there's one left. So if you want in, there's one left. You can do the link in the description below, and you can have it. So there you go. Okay. What else about that? I think we've been behind the scenes. We have just been crazy busy behind the scenes getting ready for this. We've been scheduling a whole bunch of fun stuff. We've already posted a few posts in there where people can interact and have some fun. Any idea when the next retreat is? I can't mix with. And Amy, you don't have to be there. It's not like you have to be there for the retreat. The only thing you would need to be there for would be Friday night's bingo at 7 p.m. Central. The rest of the stuff is going to just stay on the Facebook group forever. I mean, we're going to send our, like we're all doing the make and take projects. There's 12 of them. So there'll be 12 videos, and those videos will be shared to the Facebook group. So they'll be there forever. But I don't know when the next one's going to be. I'm guessing sometime shortly after the new catalog goes live. So maybe like June. I don't know for sure. We haven't even talked about it. We're trying to get through this one first. But after that, I mean, we're probably going to keep doing this, you know, I don't know, maybe every 3 or 4 months or something like that, because it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun getting ready for it. And the three of us, you know, we just work so well together. I mean, it's the craziest thing that we all met, and we all met at the same, I think, well, I met them. I think they met at the same time as I met them, but Stampin' Up! Used to have this retreat called Founder Circle. And the top 100 demonstrators in the company would go to a fancy retreat. And the first one that I went to was in St. George, Utah. And it happened to be that subsequently all the ones I went to were in St. George, Utah at a hotel down there. And that's where I met both Kelly and Dina for the very first time. And for some reason, we just kind of clicked. And the funny thing about Kelly and I was everybody kept thinking we were twins. They kept mistaking us for each other. And people think we look alike, or thought we looked alike. And so I would get called Kelly all the time, and she would get called Barb all the time. So that was kind of funny. So we kind of bonded over that a little bit. And then, you know, we go on these incentive trips that Stampin' Up! Has that you can earn. And then I saw them again there, and our husbands met on the incentive trip, and our husbands all got along too, which, how crazy is that I would meet two people, one from Iowa, one from Wisconsin, and we would get along really well, and then our husbands would all get along really well. I mean, it was meant to be. It was fate. And so, like I was saying, we just work so well together. We all get each other. We all have our strengths, and we utilize each other, you know, for our strengths. And so everything just works out. It's great. So the retreat's going to be amazing. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, what do we have? Amy talked about the retreat. I told her when it was. She's excited. Yay! Okay, and I think that I'm going to flip the camera down, and we will do a little bit of our blah, 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 and then I'll start stamping. I do have some, of course, amazing projects, because I would hate to show you anything that was terrible. So yeah. Okay, now I have to adjust everything. That has to go. And then I have to make sure it's level, and it is not. I know there's a lot of things about me that are really anal, and the girls give me grief about it all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, you are so anal. I know, I can't help it. Okay, so then I also like to make sure that this is kind of straight. I think that's good. Okay, so there's my little sheet about the retreat. Again, I got one spot left. Oh, I guess I could probably use my tiny hands to do that. Stamp Happy Academy. We are still doing this, obviously. Kelly was live for a class on Wednesday, and I will be live for my class on Monday. And then Dina will be live for her class, I think it's the 31st. And then we've just uploaded, I uploaded my In Bloom class. I'm going to be uploading our butterfly class tomorrow. I think Dina's going to be uploading her vine class next week, and Kelly will be uploading her vine class, I think, at the end of the month. So it's amazing. We've been having so much fun there. The basic membership is $19.95. That gives you all 4 of our online classes a month. The premium gives you the 4 online classes plus the 3 live classes every month, or you can go live only, which is the 3 live classes. So stamphappyacademy.ning.com. Actually, maybe I should use 2 tiny hands. That might be better, because this one's the best one because it has the ring on it, you know. All right, so I have started selling adhesive kits, you guys. I have them I have a special price for you guys tonight. They're $45. The link is in the description, and they come in this cute little bag. So allow me to show you. So you get a liquid glue, glue dots, dimensionals, a seal, tear and tape adhesive, adhesive eraser, a sand eraser, and a ruler, all in a cute little bag. Now the bags are different colors. They're not all this color, but they are so cute. And then everything just fits in there really nicely. And I will just pop this in the mail to you just like it is for $45. So a link in the description. Okay. Oh, get the tiny hand back. Hold on. And this is what's a bummer. The Stampin' Blends, for whatever reason, whatever these are made out of, it must be silicone or something. I don't know. But the fingernail polish, the Stampin' Blends don't stay on. Oh, my In Bloom class is amazing. I think I showed you guys last week my little box and the 4 note cards, and then there are 4 other cards that go with it. Well, I guess I'm showing you 5 here, but this one is a card that goes in here. Anyway, I am almost sold out of these too. I think I have, I don't know, 6 or 7 of these left. They just went like gangbusters. I honestly couldn't believe it, you guys. I mean, I sell a decent number of these kind of kits a month, but this one, whoa, blew me out of the water. And I'm going to have to cut some more cardstock to meet the demand. So anyway, those and the links in the description. The Butterfly Brilliance class, yikes. The paper is sold out. Can you believe that? This gorgeous, gorgeous Butterfly Bijou paper is sold out. Oh, Deb says I should try to use nail polish on my tiny hands. You know, I could try that, Deb. It's just that the Stampin' Blend was so easy to use because it has that super pointy tip on it. And so I could get down into the cuticles. So I think if I just did a retouch, I think it'd be fine. Oh, hello, Barbara. Barbara's one of my team members. So we don't have our special bundle of products for sale anymore, but if you already have the bundle and you already have the paper, you can get the class and the package of cardstock pieces, the ribbon and the adhesive gems for $45 or just the online class for $20. So I'm so sorry about that, you guys. There's nothing I can do about it, obviously, but it was extremely popular. The Berry Blessings, I still have some of these. I still have some bundles left. If you didn't get this bundle during celebration, I have it for you. And you can get my online class, plus the paper, plus the stamps, and the online sent to you for 6 cards for 65 doll hairs. You could use a paint pen. Denise, I probably could, but I don't have one. I have Stampin' Blends. All the chicks, I still have some of these classes left. Oh, these tiny hands, they don't pull the paper as well as I was liking them to. My Sweet Ice Cream, I think I have 1 of these left. Flowering Cactus, I think I have 3. And then our Paper Pumpkin for the month of April is going to be so cute. They're actually like popsicle cards. I know, it's so exciting. So if you aren't a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you should be. Okay. That's all. Now we can stamp. Let me leave my tiny hands here while I get all my stuff together. I guess we'll start with this because I seriously struggle with masculine cards, you guys. So we are going to use the In Taste Designer Series paper, but we're only using a tiny little strip of this pattern here. This reminds me of a jacket that my dad used to wear, honestly. Those tiny hands. I know, aren't they hilarious? Since the paper is gone, they said everything is gone with the exception of the textured paper. Stamp set. Yes, the stamp set and the dies will carry over, and we've known that all along. It's just the paper that was exclusive to the sale while supplies lasted. And of course, the supply is gone, which is a serious bummer. Okay, so I'm going to be using a tiny strip of this. I guess it's some tweed. Maybe it's tweed. I'm not really up on fashion, so we're going to go with tweed. And so we're going to be using the Whiskey Business stamp set. I've had this for a while, but I just haven't gotten it out to use it. Oh, the glare. Wow. Okay, there we go. But I haven't used it yet. So we're going to use it today. So I have a basic black card base. I have an inside layer that is 3 3/4 by 5 that I have already stamped a glass of whatever you drink, whiskey or what have you. I got your last retreat box. Yay. Perfect. What else? Then I have a 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inch piece of white and a 3 3/8 by 4 5/8 piece of cinnamon cider for a layer. And then I just went ahead and stamped a bunch of the decanters. At least I think that's what it's called. I'm not up on, I don't drink a whole lot. And when I do, it's usually a foofy thing like a Mike's Hard Lemonade or something. So yeah. And then I stamped the glasses because I was practicing my coloring, and let's just say it didn't go very well because I'm not that great at coloring. But, you know, I try. Okay, so here's my little strip of tweed. And then here is my 1/2-inch strip of cardstock that I'm going to stamp a sentiment on. So the first thing we're going to do is try to color. So we're going to color one of the decanters and one of the glasses, and then this glass from the inside. So these are the blends that I'm going to use. Whoa. I'm throwing stuff around now. So I have a light cinnamon cider, a light mango melody, a light and dark saffron, a light pool party, and then the color lifter. So this is kind of what I came up with earlier today when I was doing it. And so I kind of already have it done because I'm not going to be able to use my reading glasses because I'd have to have this thing. You guys wouldn't really be able to see because my head would be completely in the way. So I'm just going to try to show you what I did, recreate what I did, if that makes sense. And then we'll see what happens. So I did some light cinnamon cider, and then I did leave white space. And then I came in with my light mango, and I just kind of went around, did some light mango, did my white space. And then I came in with the dark So Saffron. And I just am trying to blend it all together. This is not turning out as well as my one earlier today did. Not gonna lie. Maybe I need a little bit more of this. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Coloring is just, I don't know. Some people are just so good at it and other people stink. And I would be in the latter group there. Well, we did add a little bit of that. And since it's still kind of wet, it is kind of moving around a little bit for me. So it's not terrible. And then I'm just going to take my color lifter and I'm just going to kind of go over the center of that just to lighten that up a little bit. So then what I would do is I would come over here and do the exact same thing on the other side. So I will purposely leave some white space in the center. I'm really hoping that when I get my new glasses after I get my cataract fixed, that I can actually see well enough that I can color, you know, good for you guys, because I really kind of feel bad that, you know, I'm supposed to be a professional, but yet here we are and my coloring is not that good. But, you know, we do what we can with what we have. And right now I have a bad eye. So there you go. All right. So we'll bring that saffron back in. I guess the more I'm looking at it, it's not awful. I'm just trying to, you know, use these lighter colors to kind of get that. Oops, I just went out of the line right there. Sometimes you can use the color lifter to push it back in. Sometimes you can't. All right, so we'll just use a little bit there. So there's the decanter. Not terrible. And now we need 2 glasses. So I'm going to do basically the same type of thing. But I don't know. I was looking at one of the artisan team members, I think, or one of the Stampin' Up! Designers. And they actually colored the ice cubes too. And so at first I was like, coloring the ice cubes? But obviously, you know, if the ice cube is in the glass, it's not going to be clear. So this was what I really, really struggled with, was the ice cube. And so we're going to sort of see what happens. So this is the light So Saffron. And so we just kind of went over that. I kind of feel like I need to add some more of this booze color, I guess, for lack of a better word, some of this whiskey color. Well, maybe we should bring it in. See, like I said, I'm really struggling with what to do with these ice cubes. I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't be totally booze colored, but yet, you know, I don't know. If anybody has any great tips for me, I would love to hear it. Whoops, that was the light. Okay. Oh, you know what? There is booze up here around this top rim. So we need to get that too. Okay. So, could be better, could be worse. And we're going to do one of these. So we'll do the same thing Oh my, I think I have the wrong end of this. This is like really putting the color down. Oh well. Like I said, you know, practice makes perfect. I've only been stamping for 18 years, so one of these days I'm going to get it. My dad used to drink something called Cutty Sark, if I remember right. And I don't know if it was a whiskey or what it was. I don't know. But I remember he had this empty bottle and it was pretty big, like as a display item. I just remember that for some reason. That's all I remember about that. Okay. I don't know, you guys. It is what it is. All right. Makes me want to rum and coke. Me too. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to cut that one out. I'm going to cut this other one out that I did earlier. Oh, geez. So then I had my writing on there. All right, so I'm going to try to quickly cut this. I should have cut them out earlier, and I actually meant to, but then I got distracted doing some last-minute things here before I actually went live, and then I forgot. So you guys are going to have to watch me cut, and I know that that's extremely boring. Yeah. But I guess I could tell you the way I cut. So when I cut stuff, I open and close my blade with my right hand. That's all my right hand does, is open and close the blade. It does nothing about guiding the paper around. My left hand does all the guiding of the paper. The right just simply opens and closes the blades. So I don't know if that will help any of you that struggle with fussy cutting. Sometimes fussy cutting can be, well, kind of a pain, honestly. Unless you're watching TV and don't have anything else to do. Then it's not so bad. And the glass is going to go really, really fast. Okay, so this is one that I colored earlier. It's pretty close to that one, I would say. Or do I have another cup that looks better than this? See, here are the cups I was working on earlier today. Actually, I think this one does look a little bit better. We're going to go with this one. And I threw away, oh, I should have saved them. The ones that I did that were just terrible. I tossed them. But okay, so all of that time just to get a decanter and a cup. So I'm going to save these because, you know, then I could make another card. All right, so let me get those out of the way, put back in this little package. Then I wanted to do a tiny bit of masking because I wanted to add, I think this is like a lemon rind or something that goes with this set. And so I did cut myself a mask out of copy paper. And so I'm going to just mask this. And when you mask something, you don't want to put it right to the edge. You want to pull it away from the edge just a touch. So I am pulling it that way just a little bit so that when I actually stamp this, it is actually going to look like it's behind the glass. Okay, how do we want it to go? I don't even know. We're just gonna wing it like that. And then we'll remove the mask, and then there's our little rind. And so we can, if we so desire, and I'll try to color that. Actually, I'm going to wait. I'm going to give it a couple seconds to dry before I actually do that because I don't want to ruin it. And I actually didn't use this. In the description that I was looking at of a card that Stampin' Up! Had made, they did say that they used Pool Party. So I don't know if they just lightly put it onto the ice cubes or something so it looked like water. I don't know. But it didn't work for me, so I didn't do it. Okay. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Yeah, oh, then that was a tip. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I learned that a long time ago. Not to move your right hand at all. Just move your left hand around and snip, 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 and you'll get her done good. Okay. So now this layer here, I'm going to do a little bit of blending brush with some cinnamon cider ink. Ugh. Get that open. And I need a scratch paper. And I need a clear block. I think I showed you guys this tip last week that I learned from a Canadian demonstrator. That when you're actually like working with a lot of the ink, you would obviously rub your brush into the ink and get ink on it. But you don't want all that ink to start out with because that's too much. So you need to get some of that off. So if you put it on a clear block or your Stamparatus plate, then you can still use it. So you don't actually like waste it you know, getting it into the paper. So that way you don't have to rough up your pad so much. So I'm just kind of adding a little bit of ink here in this corner. And I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to add some ink down in this corner too. So we'll just kind of blend until the ink is pretty light, and then we'll go ahead and pick up a little bit more off the block. So I'll just pick up a little more there, start off the paper always. And we'll just add a little bit. So I kind of want it dark up here in the corner. Hopefully this isn't too wiggly for you. So you can see how that's getting a little bit darker, and I can come back in here and take some more of that and get it just nice and dark right there in the corner. And I want to do the same thing down here too. Because at first I had it where when I was making the card today, or practicing the card, it was just, the paper was just white, and that was just too much white. So I thought, what can I do to kind of add something to it? I didn't want to stamp anything else. So I thought, oh, let's go ahead and do some blending. So there we go. So all I have to do is just like wipe this off or run it under the sink. So I will throw that behind me so I don't end up sticking my fingers in it. Okay. Oh, Carol likes my tip about the block. Well, thank Lindsay Mahan. It was her idea, I think. Okay, so now I am going to, where's my little skinny strip? I need to stamp a sentiment. So my sentiment that I'm going to use says, straight up, you're the best. And so I'm going to do that in some early espresso. Oh, I know what I have to tell you guys. I'm so excited about this. You can see this is an old style Stampin' Up! Pad. You know, I had never replaced my pads. Of course, the new pads are in the new style, but I've never replaced those because I'm just like, well, you know, they still work. I don't want to just, you know, throw my money away because there's a lot of things I'd like to have besides, you know, new ink pads. But I decided that I was going to go full on with the Stampin' Up! Storage for the ink pads and the markers and everything. Because I still have the super old spinny around thing. You can probably hear it here. And it's just not working for me anymore. I want everything to be right where I can see it right in front of me. So I'm like, this is my stamping area. And right above me, I have this kind of shelf that goes like this, and then it comes down. So it's on the table. So I have stuff that's back here, and then I have stuff up on this table, or this shelf. And so that's where all my ink pads and markers and Stampin' Blends and everything are going to go. I just decided yesterday with the free shipping special, I'm going for it. And so I did. I got all 10 stamp holders. I got the ink refill holders. I got a couple of the blank open boxes. I got a lid or two. And so I'm going to show you guys. I'll post it on my Facebook page here when I get it done. I'll post the before and the after so you guys can see what I did. And I'm actually super excited about this. I got my husband to help me, and yay. Okay. So here is our sentiment. And I think I'm actually going to cut that off a little bit because my decanter and my cup need to go at the end. I guess it's not really a cup when you're drinking fancy stuff. It's a glass. So my glass. Okay. And then my little strip of Designer Series paper. I literally just saw it. Oh, here it is. That's going to go underneath. So I guess I can go ahead and, whoops, add some glue to this little strip here. Whoops, I don't want to have too much glue. I don't need, you know, geez, it's squirting out all over the place. But I just wanted a little bit of something underneath my sentiment. I just felt like I needed something else besides just the white cardstock. Even with the color on there, it still seemed like it needed something. So, of course, my eyes are terrible. Is that even? Oh, I smeared it. All right, this is a do-over. Hold on. We're going to take the paper off this. Okay. Hold on. I got to get a new strip of paper. Thankfully, I have a ton of them right here. And I'm going to stamp that again. Oh, and that was perfectly straight, too. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm talking to myself as I'm stamping here for you guys. Okay. So we're going to try to get that again. That's what happens when you're a professional. You screw stuff up. All right, so let's try not to touch that now. And we're going to, the glue should still be good. And we will not touch that. Oh, maybe the glue isn't so good on this end, so we're going to add a little bit down here. Oops, get it in the frame so you guys can see. And now it's not straight. Ugh! Struggle is real today, you guys. Oh, seriously. Give me a break. Take a deep breath. It's fine. It's a piece of paper. Okay, how's that look? Is that even? I think it is. Okay, finally, we got a handle on it. Okay. Next, we can add this to this, since we're going to let that dry before we actually touch it anymore. Oh, get that started. Get our seal going here. Whoops, get off. Okay. And we'll just have a slight border here. You guys can see me, you would laugh. I have one of my eyes closed, my one that I'm legally blind in, because I can't line things up anymore. Pam says she must be a really good professional. Absolutely, Pam. Okay. Then I have a little bit of the cinnamon cider ribbon. And I have a little tiny piece that I already cut off. And I just shaped it into a V. And I'm just going to add this right here on the end. On the edge. And there's a piece of tape already on there, so there it is. So I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to trim off the ends so they look a little nicer. There we go. And that. Okay. Then we can try to put this on. Do I want to put it on with dimensionals or non-dimensionals? I think I'm going to go no. I think I'm just going to go straight on liquid glue just because it's a skinny strip. And again, I'm trying not to touch it. I wonder if there's something with my pad that it's, because it's smeary. I don't know. Maybe my new pad. I'm actually kind of excited about that. Because I've been, not that my, like I said, my old pads are totally fine for the most part. I don't have any issues with them. But the old style pads don't fit in the Stampin' Up! Storage system. That's why I had to replace them. These are a little bit too deep and they don't slide in the slots really nicely. So that was why I had to, because I wasn't even thinking about the pads. I was just going to get the storage system. And then as I was thinking what I needed to get, all of a sudden it dawned on me and I thought, oh my gosh, I have to do something else because the pads aren't going to fit in there. So then I had to get all new pads. Not all new, only the ones that I didn't have, obviously, because some of them I have already replaced because, well, not replaced, but they're new colors, and all new colors come, you know, in the new, whoops, that's supposed to go here, in the new style. Okay, and the little mini dimensional up here on the decanter, and we'll peel the backings off. And then I struggled about if I should add color up here, but I tried, and every time I tried, it looked terrible. So I opted to just leave it as it is and not mess around with it. Okay, so, and then we'll have a glass here, and I'm purposely putting them cockeyed so I don't have to try to get them to be straight because I can't see very well. And every time I do anything and I try it, have it be straight, it's not. And so we'll just purposely make it not straight so then it won't be. All right, so we're doing dimensionals again. And then we'll line this up, hopefully straight. Or even there. And then this for the inside. I was going to stamp one more sentiment. I have another sentiment here that came in the set that I thought might be good for the inside. Oh, I got to color that little lemon rind too. So hold on, I'll get that done. There we go. So here is our, this is the mango. So I think the mango should work just fine for it to be lemon. And it probably isn't lemon all the way through, but you know what? I don't care. It's my card and I want it to be yellow all the way. There. Okay. Then my last sentiment says, cheers to you. So we're going to ink that up. I think that's good. And we're going to stamp it. Actually, purposely we're going to stamp it over on the side because that way I don't have to line it up. There. Okay, and it's done. So this is a guide card, and I'm actually doing a blog hop on Saturday. And this is going to be my card that I'm going to have on my blog hop. So all the dimensions and some directions, and then I'll link to, actually, I'll link to this Facebook Live when the blog post goes live. Oh, there's one more thing I had in here. I forgot about these, and I just found them in my collection of goodies. These are the antiqued corners and slides, and I only have these left. I have 1 slide and 2 antiqued corners. And I kind of thought maybe I could throw this up here and then it would just add another little, I don't know, some fun. So we're going to do that. You would feel like a new person once you're, I know, Vicki, I can hardly wait to get my eye fixed. Now that I decided to do it, now I'm just dying to get it done. So, and April 20th is the day that I actually see the doctor, which of course is not going to be the day that the surgery happens, but I'm hoping that shortly after that will be the surgery and I won't have to wait too long. So we shall see. Okay, I got to close my eye. There. Okay, yay. All right, so I'll let you guys take a gander at that while I do a little cleaning here. Where's my chamois? Because I don't want to put these dark stamps back in my box. Because I've done that before. Oh, I'm wiggling the camera, sorry. And that just makes a mess. Okay, so we have everything. We don't need that, or that, or that, or that. That. Oh, here, Handy Mandy can help us by holding the card down. Thank you, Handy Mandy. So now I just need to get Handy Andy in here, or Handy Randy, whatever we decided to call the hands with no ring. All right, get the dimensional backings off, and we are golden here. Let me bring in the supplies for our next project. We will do this. Okay, so this is a layout that I have had some fun with, and I can't tell you why I had some fun with it. You'll find out if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You'll find out in April. At least I think you will. Okay, maybe you won't. Maybe I'm saying something that's not true. Anyways, I'll tell you some other time, and I'll tell you a funny story some other time. Okay, so these are, oh, that's already done, but that's not what we're doing exactly. I'm going to be using the Boho Indigo stamp set and one of the vases out of the Boho Indigo die set. Now, I had originally planned on using this vase, and I don't even know which way it goes. If it's supposed to go like this, or if it's supposed to go like this, or if it doesn't matter and you can do whatever you want. A fine tip Sharpie would work on the nail. You know, maybe, Debbie, it might. I could try it. So I went to die cut this today, and I accidentally grabbed this die out of the collection, and I ran this through. I thought, oh, well, that's an interesting one too. So I don't know which one of these I'm going to use. And then I have a few extras here, because you just never know if you're going to screw one up, you need an extra one. Oh, and then I already did that, but I'll show you. Okay, so here's my card base. It is a crumb cake 5.5 by 8.5. I have a 2 3/4 by 4 inch piece of balmy blue. I have a 1 by 2 3/4 inch piece of Daffodil Delight, a 1 by about 5 1/16 piece of Night of Navy, a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white for your layer here, and then a scrap so that I can get a label punch out of it. And so here is my lovely label punch. This is one of my favorite punches, is it's just about the same size as a 2 to 2 1/4 inch circle, but it has a little bit of pizzazz to it. So I do really like this a lot. The nails look natural. No one has. Carol, you are so correct, because my nails are just a wreck, a complete wreck. So please don't anybody look at them. Okay, so I got my label out there. We need some ink and we need some stamps. So as far as the stamps go, we're going to use this little trio of flowers, this little single, and then this little foliage piece here. And we're going to use the same colors of ink that we have colors of cardstock. So where's my last stamp? Right here. Okay, so I need to do a little bit of stamping. So I need a scratch paper. I'll bring that same one back in that we used for, we'll turn it over. So I'm going to randomly stamp this foliage piece in balmy blue. And when I do random stamping, I like to start in the center of my cardstock, or basic center, because that way I just work my way out from the center. And then I don't ever end up with a space that is, you know, too small for another stamp, or a space that's too big for 2 stamps. So that's a tip for you. I hope you enjoy that tip. How about that? And then we're going to come in with a full one here, a partial like this, a little partial down here in the corner, and I think we're going to sneak a little tiny bit there, and a little tiny bit there. Okay, so that one's done. Next, we're going to bring in the daffodil and this little tiny flower. And we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're just going to kind of start in the center-ish. And we'll just randomly kind of add a few as we go along, as we go away from the center. Flip that around. Do that, that. Maybe a tiny one up there. I always think that I need to get them on the corners. Maybe I don't, but I think I do. And then the navy, we're going to use the little flower trio. I need to find the navy ink because I was going to use it in something else. This is also an old style pad. It served me well. I have had these pads for a long time. Again, we're going to start in the middle, and then we're going to work our way up and away from the middle. Maybe like that. Like that. Come over here. We'll flip it around. And that's another key to random stamping, you guys, is to move your stamp around. So don't always have it in the same position every time you stamp it. Move it around a little bit, like twist it, and then that will help it look a little more random. I need a chamois. Oh, here's another. The other one didn't seem like it was very wet, so I'm not sure if I need to get that one a little more wet or what. Okay, so this I need to use again. So we're going to make sure that's clean. We're going to bring in this piece that we die cut the label, or punch the label out of. And we're going to ink up this little flower trio with Daffodil Delight. And now this does have a die that goes with it. So there's a little die in this set. There's a lot of fun stuff in this. This is one of our actual like product medleys. So it's kind of like the cactus one. So if you order the Boho Indigo product medley, you get the stamps and the dies. You get this fabulous collection of paper and die cuts and little flowers that are so cute. And look at this paper. It's all like blue and vanilla. The patterns are so pretty. You get a lot of it. And then you get the labels. Here's some leaves. And you get some pieces of paper that have embossing already on them, which is really cool. So it's a really neat kit. So yeah, I recommend it. Let me get this out of the way. I'll move it behind us so it's not interfering. Okay, so where's the die? So here's that little trio die here. And then here's the rest of there's a lot of vases in here, which is pretty cool. So of course you saw I already die cut that, so we're done with that. So let me scoop these back into my hand and put them back in the box, or the container, I mean. The sleeve. There we go. And now we're going to do our assembly, which will be fairly simple. All right, so first off, what we need to do is add these stamped pieces to this layer here. So I'm going to start with my bulby blue. And I'm going to put that up here in the corner. And I'm going to have about, 1/8 of an inch-ish border. And then we'll do this little strip here. Right below that, again, 1/8 of an inch-ish border between the two and then all around it. And then finally, we'll get our strip of navy. And that's going to go on the side here. So this is another one of those layouts that I think I got a swap like 5 or 6 years ago that had this similar layout. And I just really liked it. And so whenever I find a layout that I really like, I keep it in a special place down here, like a little container. And then every so often I'll go pull it out and I'll think, what kind of cards, what could I make with this layout today? So this is what I came up with. So here is my little sentiment piece. And now I don't know what sentiment I want to use. So I got a couple here. I was thinking of either "You Made My Day" or maybe "Hey Friend" or "Hello There." I think we're going to go with "Hello There." That looks pretty cute. And it's small. I wanted something small. So I'm going to use this block. And I'm going to try to get this on here straight. These little tiny ones, I don't have any grids for these. And so you guys know I do like my grids. And it's something that Stampin' Up! Used to sell. They don't anymore, but I got addicted to them and I can't let them go. So then I need to figure out where I want my little pot of flowers. And then I can get my hello there Well, I guess I have more white. If this isn't straight, then we will just crop out a new one. Oh, what do you know about that? It is straight. Yay me. Go Barb. Okay. I don't know. Now that I'm looking at this vase, I'm kind of wondering if it's too big. Should I go with this little one here? Or is that way too small? I don't know. I kind of think I like that one better. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. I just made an executive decision. And I need some dimensionals. So I'll use some of these tiny ones. These are the dimensionals, in case you guys don't remember, that got soaked last week when I dumped my Diet Pepsi everywhere. But they still work. I actually thought they were going to be goners and that they weren't going to work. I thought the Diet Pepsi would ruin the sticky, but they did not. It did not. So go dimensionals. Okay. So I think I'm going to put this little vase like that. And then this little flower trio right above it. Like so. Oops, that looks like it might be a little crooked. Ugh, pull that off. There. Okay. Then I have some of these holiday rhinestones, and I thought these blue ones may or may not look good in the centers of these flowers. I don't know. This dark, it might be too much. You know, it might be too dark. I don't know. But there's like the perfect amount. Whoops. The perfect amount of them are right here at the bottom. But it doesn't want to cooperate. So we will make it cooperate. You will cooperate. Okay. So I don't know. Is that like maybe overkill? Maybe I should have used the lighter ones. Ooh, maybe I should have. What do you guys think? Light or dark rhinestones? Just say light or dark. And I think I can get those off there. So while we're doing that, I'm going to attach this to my card. So you guys tell me if you think light or dark. Whoops. You can always tell how long the time delay is for how long it takes you guys to comment after I ask a question. So it's about 8 or 9 seconds, I think, right now. Oh, everyone's saying dark. Okay, well, there we go. I guess I was good. I was right to begin with. My gut reaction was dark, and so that's what we did. Okay, then, as you probably saw in the beginning of the card, I have this zigzag piece that I already made, so I'm just going to pull it off and get some new tape, and we're going to tape it to the back of the label here. So this is how I'm going to do this. So I have it all zigzagged, so I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to put it on the card where I want it to be, like how I want it to be oriented. And I think like this is about how I'd like it oriented. And so I'm then going to just take my label and press it onto the tape, trying to center it somewhat. Okay. So there we go. I think we got that on there. That looks decent enough. Then we need some dimensionals. And I think I'm going to use some of these little edge pieces here, I think. Oh, what the heck. Just to try to sneak those in, because I don't really want to add it onto the ribbon because I don't want to add too much more bulk. So if I just add it on the long side of the ribbon, it'll take up the same amount of space, I feel. Okay. Oh, yeah. Isn't that cute? Yay. That's really cute. Okay, there we go. I'll clean up my mess. Thank you guys for the dark suggestions. We got outvoted. You guys that wanted the light got outvoted. Majority rules, people. Or Barb. It just depends. Could be majority, it could be Barb. I always can override anything here, so there you go. Oh, I forgot, that little kit also comes with ribbons. The ribbon that I used on the card plus this gold. Okay. I'm going to throw everything back in this box. The stamps, I think I already cleaned most of them. Those two I did not. So let me get that out of the way just for a sec while I clean this off. You can see my chamois has seen better days, but you know what? It's just stained. It works perfectly fine. Okay, so here's our card. Excuse me, Mandy, where are you? Oh, here she is. So Mandy will hold the card for us. Thank you, Mandy. Mandy is quite handy, I've got to say, you guys. I just found another one of my decanters. Okay. So we will now bring in our final project, which has a lot of stuff. I don't know how in the world I made a card with this much stuff, but here we are. Okay. Oh, thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Carol says she always looks forward to Thursday night stamping with me. That's very sweet. Thank you so much. Tape on there. Get rid of that. Okay. So this is another card that I'm going to make for you guys that copies the layout that I made a really long time ago. Mandy, thank you. This is a card that I made. You might recognize this cute little frog. We had frogs as a celebration reward. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I can't remember now. But this is a card that I made, and I had copied another card that I had because I just loved this layout. I loved how the ribbon went around the whole card. I loved having this little piece folded back and torn off. I just loved everything about this layout. So we are going to make a card copying this layout. All right. Thank you, Mandy. You can go. So I'm going to be using, it's spring, and who doesn't love tulips for springtime? I'm also going to be using the Playing with Patterns Designer Series paper. Here is my kind of Designer Series paper cheat sheet. And I ended up using this pattern here just because I liked it and I thought it would look great for my card. And then last week somebody told me that there was a Happy Easter in, oh, wait a second. I'm not using this for this. I'm using this for something else. Hold, please. Then I have the pattern play stamp set because I'm going to use this long striped guy here. I have the Playing with Patterns dots. And then I have various ink pads. And then we're going to use one of the ribbons, this Coastal Cabana ribbon in the Playing with Patterns ribbon combo pack. All right, so let me get my stamps out. What does this say? That says thanks. Oh, that's because we are using this. I have to show you something that makes me super happy, you guys. When we first got this bundle, I ordered it. Actually, did I get this for free? I did. Stampin' Up! Had, in November of 2018, I was at a Stampin' Up! Convention and on-stage event in Orlando, Florida. It was their 30th anniversary. And they were giving out these golden tickets. Randomly, you would get one that would be in your prize pack, I think. Well, I got to redeem my golden ticket for this stamp set, which was fairly spendy. I think it was, maybe a $30 stamp set. Anyway, when I got home, I got the dies that go with it. And when I was having a club class here, and I think Carol's on here, Carol might remember this. While the girls were stamping their cards, I was putting this together. And honestly, when this retires, I think I might just keep this and frame it and hang it on my wall. I love it so much. It probably took me 2 hours to put this together, so it was definitely a labor of love. But it just makes me so happy. All the colors, everything is just so cute. So anyway, that is my little cheat sheet for this die set because there's a lot of stuff going on in here. And this way I can look at this and know immediately what's in here and what I might want to use. So again, this is going to be something that's going to stay down here for many, many years to come. And we're using the thanks out of the stamp set and then friend out of the die set. Okay, so put those aside. We don't need them now. And then I'm using the, well, I would be using Purple Posy, but we don't have an ink pad in Purple Posy because there was some product issues with it last year and they got rid of it. So we're going to be using the Highland Heather. Okay. We also are going to be using this fancy label punch, and you can use whatever kind of punch you might have to do this little trick, but I'm going to use this tiny little slot over here. Oh, you guys are talking about Handy Mandy. Yes, I made Handy Mandy a ring last week. So now she's married, engaged, whatever you want to say. And her significant other, I will be getting another pair of tiny hands. And I believe we decided to call him either like Handy Andy, Handy Randy. I can't remember. But Handy Randy's hands are going to be super boring. So we'll probably use Handy Mandy a lot more just because her hands are a lot prettier than Randy's would be. Okay, enough of the blah, 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 Barb. Get busy. Okay, so here are all the goods. We have that. We have, oh, I didn't want to, what the heck? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to stamp that and punch it out, but I decided to, when I was making the card, I had to stamp it and punch it out to make the card. Okay, so I have a scallop circle from the Layering Circles dies. This is what I call number 5. So I start in the middle. The tiniest one is 1, and then this goes out. So this is number, is that a 5? Oh, that's a 6. Remember, I'm blind. This is number 6. Okay. And then this is a 2.5-inch circle punch. And here are my pieces of patterned paper. And then here's the strip. So what we need to do is I already scored this, because when I cut things the hot dog way, which is what a teacher told me one time this was, I always score the whole piece first and then I'll cut it in half. So there you go. So we're going to fold this in half. Oh, I forgot to add one more score line. Let me grab my trimmer. Okay, so I also need to score, it doesn't matter what side, you just need to score one of them at 1 inch. And when I do smaller scoring and cutting, I do it on this side of the trimmer. It's just a little more handy, I feel like. Like Mandy. Okay, so we've got a 1 inch score line, and then the thing is folded in half. Okay, so I am going to, this is how my card's going to fold. So I'm going to open it to the inside. Ooh, a tattoo. Teensy! Great idea! And I'm going to just tear this off. So when I do tearing, I use my thumbs. So I have, this thumb just is a placeholder. And then my right thumb is the one that's actually, and finger are actually doing the work. Okay. So then when I fold this back, because when you tear paper, you get one side that, it's hard to explain, but maybe you can see it. So the one side, you can see this like multiple layers of paper there. The other side is not. So I wanted the more layers to kind of show. All right. So now we're going to do a little stamping on this. So I need a scratch paper. I need a piece inside and outside of that. And I'm going to use a Versamark. I would use Purple Posy, but we don't have it. So I'm going to use a Versamark and this long strip. And of course it's too long for my block, but it doesn't matter because I'm only just using this tiny amount here. And I'm just going to, am I in the frame here? Stamp this little piece that I tore with this little strip. So there's just a real subtle thing going on here. I actually tried it with the Highland Heather and it was too dark. I didn't like it. So I thought we'll go with Versamark. Versamark gives you that nice tone on tone look. And I think it's fine. Okay. So hopefully you can see that we just have a nice light stamping going on there. Then I'm going to bring in my strip of white here. So these little pieces are 1.5 by 1.5. And then this is about 4.5 by 1 3/4. And so, well, I guess I'll put my seal. No, I'm actually going to use liquid glue. Because when I'm holding on to tiny pieces of stuff, I like to use liquid glue. And I'm not putting a whole bunch on. I'm just using a very skinny bead of the glue. Okay. And we're going to stick one on this end. So it's right to the end and then in between. And now you could use an entire strip. I was just being a little bit cheap because I had a scrap of this particular pattern in my little package. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to be cheap and use this little scrap. And then this one is not going to go completely to the end because a lot of this is going to be covered up by my flap. So I'm just going to put that one about right there. So if you wanted to make a whole strip, you could make it 1.5 by about 4.5. Okay. I did, Deb. I did stamp with Highland Heather and it was so dark. It was like way too much. Way too much. Okay. So then this is going to be tucked under. Or you can see it is too long. Let me cut some of that off. How long did I make this? I don't know. Maybe it should be 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4 is probably better. Okay. So 1 3/4 by 4 1/4. So, but before I put that on, I do need to punch a little, I need to get a hole so I can thread my ribbon through. Now you can use scissors. If you have scissors, you can like try to cut just a tiny hole. But if you have a punch, like this little tiny slot here, I'm going to try to do this. So I'm going to slide this in. I don't want it right in the center. So I'm just going to wing it. So you can see that I just barely have a tiny, tiny bit of the side of the card there. I'm just going to crop that out. So now I have a little hole inside my card, and then I can put my ribbon through there. But before I do that, I'm going to add this to the card. I should see if I can find some more of this layout, because I have probably, I don't even know, 3 or 4 cards down here that use this. I know I have 2 for sure. I know where 2 of them are. Well, one of them's right here on my desk. And then the other one, I think I know where that one is too. Okay. So I'm going to wrap ribbon around there, but first I'm going to glue my flap down. Okay. So we'll just press that into place. We'll hold it for just, actually we'll just stick that on there and that'll hold it. Okay. So my little circle here. Oh, I need a scrap of white. Where is my scraps? Right next to me. Very fortunate that everything I need to stamp with is like right next to me. It's very handy. Okay, so now we're going to use the Highland Heather, and we're going to ink up the large tulip. And then I'm going to stamp that right down here at the bottom. And then I'll bring in my tulip punch, and we'll get that cropped out. Again, closing the blind eye so I can line that up. All right, so there we have that. And then, oh my, that is terrible. Is that the one I just punched out, or is this the one I just punched out? This one's better, so that one's going over there. All right, so I need to stamp a stem and some leaves. So I've got that. I need a scratch paper. I need a lot of scratch paper down here, you guys. Oh, I should be looking at, you could use purple. Oh, I could have tried that, Deb, but I actually liked, I guess I could have, Debbie. I could have used the Stampin' Blends. I could have just like drawn some random lines. I didn't even think about that, honestly. That was a great idea. As opposed to the hamburger way. Exactly, Elaine. Elaine totally gets that. That's who told me that, was some of my teacher friends. When we were, I used to do a lot of parties for my teacher friends, and that was a tip that one of them told me. Oh, whoops, that's not the way I want that to go. This is what I want. That there was the hamburger way and the hot dog way. So that's brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to put this about right there. Oh, my husband just turned on the water outside, so that's really loud. Rude! Where is my leaf stamp? Does anybody see a leaf stamp anywhere? I've got the... oh, I remember. Now that I think about it, I dropped one on the floor, so I just found it. Oh, there's a hair on it. Okay. So then we're going to stamp some leaves off to the side. Of course, not all the way up, because that would be overkill. But we will get our leaves on there. There we go. And then my little tulip head, I'm going to do with a dimensional. About like that. And then I'm going to add some glue to the back of this circle. And we'll add it to our scallop. There we go. I better close this for fear of dinking my hand in it or something. Okay. So then this is going to go on the card about like so, but first we're going to put the ribbon on. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to put this on first, and we're going to do it in a way that we can run the ribbon underneath it. So when I do this, I'm going to put dimensional at the top and the bottom so that the underneath is, the middle is open so I can run my ribbon through. Don't you still have some snow? Is he washing the car? I don't know what he's doing out there. Maybe he's just trying to see if the hose or if the spigot works, and it did. I don't know what he's doing. He's off, and he loves being outside. That's like his life. Is being away from people. I think I've told you guys he's in law enforcement and he deals with a lot of people. Whoops, this has to go like this. And he's been doing it for, 20 plus years, and he's getting burned out on people. Not nice people, because, normally it's not nice people that he has to deal with. So anyway, when he's off, he likes to just putz around the yard, and he calls it his happy place, the yard. All right, so we are going to cut this off. Oops, those are not my good scissors, obviously. I'm going to tie a little knot right here. He's probably waiting for me to get done. He's probably thinking he wants to eat some food. Little does he know that on Facebook Live night, the food's not that great. It's like grilled cheese sandwich. I'll put bacon in it, though. This ribbon is a little hard to deal with sometimes. It's a little stiff. Okay, wow, what do you know about that? I actually got it on there nice and tight. Okay, so we'll snip the ends off of this. There we go. And then we have our inside layer. So here's our inside layer, and I'm going to get the Highland Heather back. And I have a little bud here. I think it's a tulip. I really don't know. I'm not a... Dina's the probably flower person because I think she was a biologist in a previous life. Or a biology teacher, I mean. So she would probably know exactly what all this stuff is called. Okay. Then I need to stamp a stem. Barely, just a tiny little stem here. Like that. And then my leaf. Lost it again. And just a tiny bit of leaf coming off the side here. There we go. And my word thanks. And then I have the word friend here, die cut somewhere on this, in this mess. We will find it. Huh. And I suppose, oh, it's right here. Why is everything you lose right in front of your face? I just will never understand that. Grilled cheese. See, I love grilled cheese sandwiches, Susan. I would eat them a lot. And again, I'm going to kind of put it over to the side because that way I don't have to worry about if it's straight or even or centered. Thanks. Oh, you know what? I should have used adhesive sheets on this, and I didn't. I need to put my adhesive sheets over by my die cutting machine because there's a lot of times when I do these tiny little die cuts that I could use adhesive sheets, and it would make my life so much easier. All right. Well, we're going to go liquid glue, just the tiniest amount. And anywhere that I might have a blob, I'm just going to kind of tap it off with my finger before I actually put this down because I don't want it to blob out all over. Okay, so we are going to stick our little friend like that. And now you may be wondering where the tittle for the eye is. I didn't ever know that. I did a video one time using this particular die set, and I put a rhinestone for the dot on the eye. And a lady commented and said something about she was very happy to see that I utilized the tittle. And I thought, what? And so I had to look that up. I had to Google what is a tittle. Well, a tittle is the dot on a lowercase I or a lowercase j. So you are welcome for the English lesson today. I think I'm going to use, for my tittle, I'm going to use one of these Coastal Cabana little resin dots. And we're just going to add it right above there. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, then we're just going to add this to the inside with my seal, if I can find it. So yeah, who would have thought? And of course, I told my son, and at the time he was probably like 15, and so he giggled because he thought that was really funny that something would be called a tittle. But you're such a man. Okay, so we're going to line this up on the inside. There we go. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, that is just so fun. And the ribbon goes all the way through. I just love it. You don't know Dina's trick with the silicone mat and sponge. Oh, I do, Debbie. Sometimes it's just more of a pain to get all that stuff out than it is to just try to get the glue on there. And I must say, I am pretty handy with a bottle of glue. So there you go. It is one of my strong suits. So here's my other card, and I think I know where the other one is. Found it. This was a card from a bundle called Wonderful Romance a couple years ago too. So again, it's the exact same layout, and I just love using it because it is so simple to do it. So there you go. And then I did make this cute little coordinating thing for my card. I mean, it says Happy Easter, but this is like a little matchbox, a little matchbook thing. And I am going to be posting the directions for this on my VIP page tomorrow. So if you are on my VIP Facebook group, you will get the directions to this little guy. If you're not, all you have to do is place an order in my online store and you'll get into that. So I'll have directions for this. Here's this. Let me bring in the rest of the projects that we made for you guys today. And as I always say, please share the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, subscribe down here. And yes, I'll be back next week for sure. And there we have it. There's my cards. Oh, so much fun. I just dig that so much. All right. So that's it, you guys. I hope you have a fabulous week. I look forward to our meeting next Thursday. And then the day after that is the virtual retreat starts because we're doing bingo that night. So again, I've got one swag box left. There's one swag box in the whole world left, and I have it. If you want it, click on the link below. All right. Thank you guys again, and I will see you next week. Oh. Goodbye from Handy Mandy. There she is. All right, guys. See you later.